This is Broad Minded with Spirit Lightworker 1111, aka your girl TJ. This is season 1, the very first podcast we're actually doing. And today we have on our show AJ. So today we're going to get into a couple of topics about relationships and just like certain things that goes on, between males and females. So in your history, do you mind saying how old you are, AJ?
I am 48 years old.
So about what age did you start dating? Or just being interested in like females and stuff?
Probably about the age of 14.
So you started having sex at 14?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So would you agree that males have sex earlier than females, or would you think that females have sex earlier than males?
Females have sex earlier than males.
Why would you say that?
Because in my experience, what happens is younger females are exposed to older males who are already having sex and who get them into having sex sooner. By the time I had sex with my girlfriend, she was not a virgin.
Okay, well, I had sex a little early too, and it was an older guy, so I guess I can't dispute that at all. Yeah. So that means there's a lot of predators running around, huh? Can we say that? Is that the case? Is that what it's looking like?
Or a lot of easy little young girls running around. One of the
You gonna say that?
Hey.
Is that because you don't have daughters? Would you say that if you had daughters?
That is why I wish all my daughters away.
You wish them all away.
Before I had them.
Okay, so you have how many kids?
4 sons.
No daughters.
No daughters. Thank God.
So you're trying to say females are fast. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm definitely trying to say that females coaxed me into the entire sex thing.
So you didn't insist, that the female insisted?
Yes, because I was still doing things that were younger.
I did not do that. I didn't insist that they talked to me. Well, let me not lie. Okay, we're going to keep it real. So I can't remember. I'm not even going to lie. I think I may have insinuated or insisted because my friends and I kind of talked about sex. And I think I learned the majority of things that I know about sex, I learned from my friends. So how about, where did you learn from? Did your parents sit you down and have the talk with you?
No, I think I probably learned mostly from either trial and error or porn.
So you were watching porn at that age?
I can't remember when I first watched porn.
I think I was watching porn at that age.
But maybe, but I don't believe that I talked so much with it about my friends, because although they talked about sex, they never got detailed enough into, to where it was like they were teaching me anything. They just either did or didn't.
Right.
And then at that point, it was also maybe even embarrassing to say that you didn't.
Well, I don't know if I was at like 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there, maybe 14 or 15. But I do recall watching porn with my friends. And the first time I can remember us getting a porn movie, me and a couple of my girlfriends, and just sitting around and drinking a little bit, even at this age, not even old enough to drink. If there's any kids listening, we do not condone drinking at this age or drinking underage drinking. I'm just going to say that at that point in time, things were a little different, and we were in the house, so it didn't matter. Like, we would all get together, have sleepovers and stuff, and then we would really watch porn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was just a group of girls, no guys at all, period, just us.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we got that cat out of the bag. So how do you think things are different, like, as far as, like, raising females and males? Well, you don't know about females, but did you sit your sons down and have the talk with them? Or did you just let life and society raise them with that?
Let's see. Probably there was a little bit of both. By the time I could really get them to sit down and open up, they were probably already learning from their friends.
So most kids...
Or from sources,
outside of you.
Outside of me, yes.
Okay. So with everything that you know, growing up as a teenager, because you became apparently probably way more experienced as you continue to grow, right? In your age and development and just learning to deal with females.
Wow. When you put it that way, I still feel like an amateur. Because learning to deal with females is always difficult, as far as I'm concerned.
Why?
Females are difficult, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, so I met you when I was like 17 years old. I don't think I was difficult at the time.
You weren't difficult to me at the time, but you were difficult to somebody.
Ooh. Okay, I was. I can recall the person I was dating back then. We'll call him N. Just initials. NB. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I done had a couple boyfriends by the time I met you. But I still wasn't difficult to you. I did pretty much. I was very mild-mannered back then. Yeah?
To me.
But you're saying I was still a little bit difficult to somebody else.
From what I understand, yeah.
Okay, so good question. Coming up, when did I become difficult to you? Don't hold out. Let us know.
When we became reacquainted in probably early 2000, 2001, something like that.
So I probably was about 20-something?
Yes. And after I lost contact with you, between the time I lost contact with you and the time we were reacquainted, you were different.
Different how?
Faster.
What does that mean?
Faster.
Because you already trying to say young females are fast. So what is that?
Maybe more somehow plugged into the streets.
Okay, yeah, I was a little more maybe streetwise because when I first met you from the beginning, I was kind of nerdy. That probably was the difference then.
And so now you had a different attitude, a little bit different outlook.
A little bit of damage from dudes.
That part I have no idea about except for what you tell me.
You saw it though. You saw some of these behaviors firsthand.
I definitely saw some of the behaviors. I had conversations with you about some of those behaviors. But you weren't really receptive to anybody trying to change the way you were thinking.
Because it seems like after you get to know a couple of things about the opposite sex, those things just kind of stick out in your brain. Like, most guys are very conniving and very, they don't know how to stay to one woman. It seems like guys are designed to cheat. And that can damage a person who is not designed to cheat. Because to me, I would choose to just want to be with my one person, but it seems like no matter how, no matter what I did, I was probably like one of the best girls or a very good girlfriend. I do know that from just a fact. But it seems like dudes, their eye is always wandering. Like, no matter what they have at home, it's like their eye is always wandering. So what is that about? Like, you don't think that would damage somebody or hurt somebody? What? The people want to know. What you hesitating for? Or you just don't have an excuse for your male species?
You're saying that guys are what now?
Designed to cheat.
Designed to cheat. I can imagine that, especially at a young age, guys want to explore.
Are you giving us good answers, or because it sounds like you're taking a long time to think? So, are you trying to give us the politically correct answer, or are you going to give us the real deal? Like,
well, I don't know, because if I want to give you the real deal, or if you ask me to give you the real deal, then I can only give you my personal experience. My personal experience, I started out, like I said, as a virgin. My first girlfriend was not, or my first real girlfriend was not a virgin. She was eager to have sex while I was still doing little boy things. And then, or at that point, I didn't believe in calling women names like bitches, like how God, amongst my friends,
that soon changed.
I was one that wouldn't call women by those names or even cheat on my girlfriend.
But then what happened?
But then I had a girl cheat on me. And it made me feel so bad that I decided I was never going to feel that way again.
So you decided to just start cheating on bitches first?
And at that point, I just became more of a player. You get broken in fast. Pain breaks you in quick.
So, but you don't think that person, you didn't take the route that maybe that person was just wrong and not meant for you, and then just still learn to be honest with the women that you were dating?
Well, I also did a survey of everything that was going on and all of the people that I know and all the girls that I know. Everything that was going on around me told me that the odds, if I play the numbers, statistically speaking, I was safer taking that route than I was deciding to be vulnerable to the 80% of women that are not going to be right for it.
I was going to say, all women do not do what that young lady did to you. That could have just been like a fluke, and maybe you should have chose better. And like, if a young lady is just like steady pushing up on you eagerly to try to give it up, you should have known that wasn't the right thing for a virgin to do.
No. I wasn't saying, I never said she was pushing up on me trying to give it up. What happened was that she was my girlfriend. She had already been having sex, but since I was doing little boy things to her, that wasn't enough.
Meaning she was a fast ass. That's what I'm saying. And if you were not at
She was just already more advanced. She wasn't fast necessarily.
Okay.
At least I
the
don't know
end result was she cheated, right?
She did.
And it ruined you at that point in time to start now wanting to cheat on ladies or girls or anybody before they would cheat on you. Not realizing that damaged you, because everybody's not a cheater.
Everybody's not. But if as I look around, I see things and am otherwise privy to information that tells me the same thing.
Yeah, but that's like bringing baggage from one relationship to the next. Like, just because everybody has to have their own
I agree that you're
chance.
supposed to start over every time, but life is not normally that way. That is not always how the brain works. I realized I could have decided not to do it that way, but once you touch a hot stove, you always pull your hand back when you get close to a hot stove. See what I'm saying?
All right, so moving forward, that happened to you. As you matured, and now you have these 4 sons. Are all your 4 sons by the same women or the same woman?
All different mothers.
All different mothers. So by the time you got to the 3rd one, you didn't decide that you should now not have 3 or 4 different baby mamas. You didn't think that was maybe something that you should change?
Or by the time I had 4...
How about by the time you had 2? Like, I don't want to have 2 or 3 or 4 different baby mamas.
Well, I had my children very young, so I wasn't maturing as fast as I was having children. Okay,
I don't have no room to talk because I have the same problem, but I just thought I should ask. And I think I probably was about the same, way, having children very immature. But do you think that that's because we were not explained sex, more or less by your parents? Or do you think that's from just learning as you go? Or do you just think that that's just we're a product of our community and that's the end?
Ooh, probably a little bit of everything, but definitely, where I was concerned, I just got greedy. I was just greedy, or I was just being in my flesh.
So you was having a lot of sex.
Yeah, I was just chasing the good feeling that sex brings.
Okay, do you think that you changed, at what point in time do you think you changed that? Because I think we can say that you're totally different now.
Well,
I've known you for a long time.
48 years old now.
Yeah, so I think you're a lot different now. Yeah. So, compared to then, what do you think is different?
What's different now is I'd rather have the person that I would like to have sex with and try to develop a really good sexual and non-sexual relationship with that one person.
And maybe maturity, huh?
Yeah, I realized that I don't need 10 women to be happy. I could have one and be happy.
So at what point in time did you realize that?
Probably during the time that I was still older, and maybe even single. Is when I probably realized it. Because at that point, I could have as many women as I wanted, but the urge to chase many women went away.
Okay, so the thing that I'm looking at, and this is probably one of the biggest things that I'm encountering right now, even in my tarot or just in some of the things or the businesses that we do, we're noticing that people are kind of becoming very bitter when it comes to love. What do you think that's about?
It's because of, and I suppose it's a product or a byproduct of not going or being wise about getting into certain relationships that cause you to get the bad results, which lead you to believe that the majority of relationships are what you have been experiencing. So, does that make sense? Did I say that right? If we choose more wisely,
right,
then we probably get a better result, which could now feed to our minds or our hearts or our spirits that relationships are good. Instead, we probably move too fast, get into relationships with people who are not for us, and then we develop the wrong attitude towards relationships.
Right. Okay, so what also we've been noticing lately is because we've been interested in tarot, we got interested in astrology. So part of the things that we have been learning about astrology, your birth dates, your birth charts, and just your zodiac sign. So you're Gemini, correct?
That's right.
And I'm a Pisces.
Yes, ma'am.
So proud Pisces on top of that. So we have been reading a couple of things pertaining to Geminis, how you interact with people. Are you finding that you're learning a lot more now about yourself as you associate it with the astrology and your your chart as far as your zodiac sign?
You mean, am I finding that what I read in the zodiac and astrology is true? Or is that what you're saying?
Yes, because for instance, we can, kind of look at one of the books that we have, and it has, some of the traits of a Gemini. You love to communicate. You're very intelligent. The list goes on. There's a lot of things that it says about a Gemini. We can kind of get the book and look into it if you want to.
I do see a lot of similarities. Most of my life, I try to stay away from those types of things. Just even my religion kind of taught me to stay away from those types of things.
Right, I agree. My family, my background is probably the same. More Christian and not into that, but I'm more like I'm not holding on to that. I'm more of a spiritual person and not a religious person.
Yeah, as I got older, I think I realized that I was more spiritual than religious.
Right.
So, as I became that, I became more curious, and I wanted to know what went on in other religions, as well as the things that religions taught you to avoid.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally agree about that, because it's like some of the things that I want to look into other people's religions. I want to look into other people's cultures. I want to look into other people's ethnicities, their backgrounds. And you and I, we believe in God. Hands down, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. We believe in God. Definitely. We believe in a higher power.
Yes.
But what we're finding is that now we're realizing like how interconnected some of these religions are. Like, it's almost as if some of these stories have been taught and told through all of these cultures. Like, some of the names have been changed, some of the little bit of things have been tweaked here and there, but we're kind of figuring out that it seems like some of these things are interconnected. So how does that make you feel, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that just leads me to believe that they all came from one source at some point, that their origin must be the same.
Right.
That maybe they were one and somehow split.
Right.
Which would account for the minor differences and also the major consistencies.
Right. Okay, so we're not going to go that deep into that. That's going to be, since this is our first show, we're going to kind of keep it a little light and just touch on a couple different points. So back to the zodiacs. So since you're starting to see, because I'm a Pisces, so I'm going to let you say some of the things that I probably disagree with as far as Pisces are concerned, but there's a couple of different things that you say that you have noticed that are the same across the board as far as Pisces are concerned. So what would you say on that? What are your thoughts?
Well, always one thing I used to say about you was that you have this ability to rationalize and excuse any of your behaviors.
Like what, AJ?
Ooh, like what?
Yes. I think I own my shit. I think I'm a person who, and I kind of, if I do something, I'll say I did that. So I don't think
so
I
you
make.
Don't lie?
Oh, okay, I definitely don't lie. You do know that for a fact. That's one of the things I get in trouble for, because I tell the truth and I may say things that I should not say. So sometimes I'm a little blunt.
But that's not to say that you have never lied. That's just to say that's not your normal.
That's to say that don't start me lying. I have been with boyfriends who they lied their ass off, and I'm the person who says, tell me the truth. And then by the time I'm tired of hearing you lie, then guess what? If you ask me if I was at the store, even if I was literally just 5 seconds at the store, I'm going to say I wasn't just because you said you weren't. And now I'm over you and I don't care about lying to you. So I'm also, and you know me, so you know I'm the person that says, don't start me to lying, because if I get lied to enough, I'm sick of you, and now I want to turn you on you. So then I start doing bullshit. But for the majority of times or situations, you have been my friend for a long time. You know I don't tend to just lie for no reason. Is that a yes or no in agreement?
Oh, no, I'm just...
Just what? What's the answer to that question?
That's okay. And then...
Is that a yes or no? You have seen me lie about something?
So I saw one thing about Pisces that I thought was true about you also.
Are you going to skip the fact that I asked you that question and go to that?
All right, what was that? You don't lie very much, I don't think.
Very much. What does very much mean?
You have lied.
About?
A few things.
Like?
Some of your activities.
What activities?
Some of your promiscuity.
I've never been promiscuous ever in life. And I know you keep saying that Pisces are promiscuous.
Yes.
What do you consider as promiscuous?
Look it up.
I mean, you tell me. What's in your mind? But matter of fact, we can look it up. Where's your phone at? Let's look up promiscuous so we can have the correct. Because to me, promiscuous means that you're just out freely fucking. So you trying to say I'm just out freely fucking? I've never done that.
I'm gonna be quiet till you look up the word.
No, don't be quiet because our listeners are here trying to. Quiet means they get no communication, so don't do that. I would like to hear this.
Listeners, I'm sorry that I said the word promiscuous.
Please. How the fuck you spell promiscuous? Tell me.
PR.
Promiscuous.
Promiscuous.
Okay. Promiscuous. 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 Having or characterized by many transient sexual relationships. First of all, I ain't never been with no transient.
What does the word transient mean? Different?
It sounds like hobos or something.
No.
First of all, now let's look up this. It says demonstrating or implying an undiscriminating or unselective approach. Indiscriminating or casual. I've never had casual sex with anybody. I am a Pisces. My sex is conditioned on the way I feel about you. So I'm just not out randomly having sex. So you have to take that word back when it comes to me.
Man, we're going to have to cut this podcast off so I can really break this down to you.
No, we need to know. Break it down. Come on. For the podcast listeners, we trying to feel it. Yeah, go with it.
What about when you get drunk?
What about it? When I'm get drunk, I'm fucking you. So you saying I'm just loose booty when I'm...
what if I'm not around?
It's never been a random person. Are you crazy? Are you going to say that?
I didn't say completely random. I don't think that's what that means.
But it says casual. I don't have casual encounters. I normally have a boyfriend. What are you talking about?
You saying I know no stories in which there was a non-boyfriend that...
How many stories do you know pertaining to that?
How many do I need to know for it to be true?
At least 5.
Okay.
Name them. Oh, so you are trying to go way too far now. You are lying. See, Gemini traits. One of Gemini traits is that you lie. Why would you lie like that?
You think I'm
Why
lying?
would you lie like that?
I'm not lying.
Name 5. You're lying.
I can't put people's names.
You gonna have these
here.
people thinking I'm a whore?
I can't.
Y'all, he's lying. Gemini trait, he lies.
I can't.
He lies by omission. So listen, the point where I was going with this is exactly this. Would you choose a mate based off of the zodiac signs now for everything that you're listening and learning about? Because you know better, right? You definitely know you know better, right? That you would do that. You're not going to answer? That is fucked up. Why would you say that about your wife?
I love you.
I love you too.
I won't tell.
But you sat here and lied.
I won't tell any lies on you.
Please don't. But you just lied. You lied like a rug.
I've known you for so many years that
you've known 5 encounters.
Yeah.
Name them. Initials, please.
Do they have to be of?
Do they have to be of what?
Particular sex, male or female?
Oh,
I mean, hey.
What? Man. Okay, it doesn't matter. What you got?
So, just without saying anything else.
Initials.
I'm not gonna say initials.
Please.
I'm just gonna ask you in your own.
Okay.
Now that we have.
Yes.
Decided on this,
2.
The scope of this.
Yes, 2.
Can we say that
2.
we've hit the 5 mark?
No.
Male and female?
Yes, 2.
Male and female?
Yes. What are you talking about?
Okay. I must be stupid. I'm sorry.
No, you must be lying like you don't. Because I
No.
need, initials. Then say who you saying. Tell me.
I'm going to mouth it. Audience, I'm going to mouth it to her.
Please, okay. 1. I count it. Who's that?
The one that went bananas at your party here. They got kicked out. Just
That wasn't a casual thing, though.
It was one time.
Because she went crazy. Okay, who else you got?
Okay.
No, because that wasn't casual. That was somebody I dated still. After a while, I had a long time being with that person.
No, that's after it started.
It doesn't matter. Casual is just casually messing with people. These people that you're talking about are people that I was messing with for a while. So
after
you named two.
Casually did it.
No, it wasn't a casually thing. We was already friends before that. What are you talking about?
I guess it's all a matter of perspective. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, then take it back right now because you lied.
Audience, I can't take it back.
You can take it back because you lied.
I just can't say everything.
You can. This is it. Say it.
It's a matter of perspective.
What's the perspective?
The perspective is that you have an excuse for every one of your behaviors.
That's not an excuse because you're trying. You have to say casual is casually. Casually is
what
like
I
casually went to a bar and I casually had sex. Like that's casual sex. You're randomly just out. I don't do that. I've never done that. So you cannot say that about me. So don't do that. That's not appropriate. Now we can't say the same about you though, with your casual ass. Since now you're trying to go on me. How many females have you had sex with once?
Once?
Yeah, once.
I don't know.
More than 5. Probably more than 20. You're a dude. That's what y'all do. Y'all are nasty.
Get out of here.
Okay, back to what I was saying. That's over.
You got way off
people,
subject.
yes, that's way off the side, way to the wrong.
Please cut that part out.
I'm not, because you were wrong for doing that to me. And that's what you gonna say about your wife, though.
I love you. I would only.
You love a casual sex ass bitch. You would never date a bitch that just was randomly having casual sex. You would not do that. You don't even want to go to the store with a bitch that's casually having sex. You wouldn't do that. So why would you say that?
Well, maybe it's just because I'll disapprove.
Because you carry me very harshly than you do everybody else. That's what you
I'm
do.
very easy on you.
No, you're not. You just made it sound like I was out randomly doing stuff. That's not nice.
Talking about, though.
Okay, so back to this. Would you pick specifically, because now you're seeing some of the stuff from the tarot and the zodiacs, would you specifically choose a person based off their zodiac sign?
I could give a person weight. I wouldn't choose off of that because I would have to feel, that I wanted to choose that person. But if given all, like if I wanted to consider that at the beginning and early on, I could, yes. And I could probably even into the relationship use the zodiac as a type of a guiding, thought pattern in dealing with a person.
Right, because you're seeing that some
so
of the
I
characters.
can see now, yes, I think I have a stronger belief in what I'm finding out about
the characteristics of the people.
The characteristics of the different zodiac signs, yes. So although I wouldn't use that as my reason for choosing a mate, that could definitely influence
your decision.
My decision to even deal with that person in the first place.
Okay, so after the zodiacs, then there's we're learning all these things about, our culture, history, hair, just the way some things were taken, away from us. And, when I say us, I mean ethnic societies. I'm sure there's stuff that's being taken away from everybody or every culture or whatever. But just as far as we're concerned, what are the things that you're learning that maybe are giving you an aha moment, or you're feeling very, positive about, knowing?
About?
Just culture and history and some of the spiritual things that you're learning, or just even about maybe energy, or, as you grow and develop, there's things that are changing within you.
Well, definitely what I'm learning about energy, the flow of energy, how you can control energy or influence energies to try to bring more happiness or change into your life. I like that aspect of things. Trying to vibrate at a higher level.
Right.
Manifest, your wants and desires.
Excuse me.
And just creating a general happiness for your life. I like that.
Right. And you're a very logical person, right? So some of these things have to be hard for you to follow or believe.
Yeah, but I can almost... The study of, for instance, quantum physics, or just the quantum level, although I have never studied it, that seems to somehow pull together what I may be reading about energy and controlling energy and how energies work.
So that's just like when I was telling maybe some of our listeners or, some of my people on YouTube about the time merging. So time merging, I guess, on a spiritual level is one thing, but that made you now go look at quantum physics because of, what I said about time merging. Would that be what you're saying?
Well, kind of, sort of. Just energy period, how energies work and everything. The quantum mechanics, quantum physics, whatever, kind of explains that energy can take so many different shapes and forms. And
that it's not just a straight line. Energy is waves.
Yeah, waves, pockets of energy that act together like particles that also behave like waves, and waves that behave like particles. So almost like it is shapeless.
So there is a logical way to explain.
Yes, that seems to meld the spirituality thing with academia.
Right. So like when we're talking about magic.
Yeah. If I look at magic as merely influencing the energies that are around me, then now I can believe in magic.
Right.
It is explainable now by some level of academic study.
Right. So like when I'm just basically over here, because I'm a Pisces, so I'm very more free, more whimsical, I live in, maybe just thoughts and, things of that nature, but you're rather rational, logical. Things have to be explained to you and you have to kind of see where it connects, basically. But I more or less can kind of go with the flow, like hey, it's magic and I believe in magic and I know I've done a lot of things that seem to be fucking very magical. So I'm very open as far as that's concerned. But you, for instance, you would need a deeper look or deeper...
I usually like to be able to somehow logically connect everything. But also, in all academic studies, we also know that there's a margin of error in our results, or in many of our results.
Right.
In science and whatever, there's usually a margin of error, and there's also an evolving of knowledge, which means knowledge is limited at any specific point based on what you have at, as your resource or what you know. So all of your theories or all of your what you see in your results may not be completely understood. There are variables that change as time goes on that are now going to reshape your opinions and your results. So how you view your results. So there's always a margin of error, was my point, basically. So I have always built into, although I am very logical, there is a built-in margin of error that says I don't know everything.
Right, because we believe in God, but we've never seen God.
Yes. So you have to be a little bit illogical to believe in God. Or
right. Or even just breathing. You breathe air, but we don't see air.
Right, but science can explain that.
So can science explain God?
No, science can't explain God, which is usually why religion and the theory of evolution kind of clash.
So how can logical people wrap their brain around spirituality? Because spirituality is about, like you said, trying to vibrate on a higher level, trying to influence the energy of nothing but positive vibes, positive energy, trying to manipulate the force field in the world in a positive direction. Like, so how can a logical person kind of rationalize these things?
Well, if you begin to look at your thoughts as energy, then you realize that your thoughts create your reality. Therefore, if you control your thoughts, you can actually control your reality in the world around you.
So say a person is just completely negative. Would this be like one of the times when you would be like, kind of fake it till you make it? Like, my brain continues to do these things. Like right now we're dealing in a time where it's like high stress, high anxiety, like for a lot of people in the world, because the world is like right now kind of very damaged, very all over the place. So people's minds are just trying to figure out how to take care of their kids, how to, do 56 jobs with 24 hours. Like there's not enough time in a day to kind of, get half of the shit that most people really want to do done. So now people are like having major anxiety thoughts. And when I say anxiety, I'm using this word based off of what I'm seeing. It's like, your mind just all over the place, going crazy, or not being able to like focus on maybe even the thing that you're doing at the time. It's like always running. And it's giving you these feelings where it's making your chest tight, where it's making your body tense, where it's doing all of these things.
Because you're trying to anticipate a future that you can't see.
Yes.
The unknown.
So how do we now control our thoughts to the point where we're focused on, because if a person is worried about how they're going to pay their bills next month, how are they going to live in right now? Like, how can I be so positive when I can see I don't have what I need? You know what I mean?
Well, that's the difficulty, I think. That's the part that people have a problem with. That's the part that's hard, because it almost seems that you have to be in a state of denial almost in order to do that easily. You have to almost be in denial that of the fact that you don't have your bill money in order to be happy spending time with your husband or wife right now watching television.
Right, because your mind would probably be focused on what you have to do to kind of get you out of that situation instead of trying to be happy for right now.
Instead of being happy. It totally robs you of your ability to be happy if you're worried about what is going to go wrong tomorrow.
Right. So I had that thing that I told you the other night. I guess me and you were, on our chill night and we were hanging out. And then it dawned on me that I think that as people get older, they start to put more restrictions on themselves. And it's like, I'm worried about if I could have a stroke, or if I'm worried about if I could have a heart attack, or I'm worried about if the stress is doing it. When I was 20, I lived like a fucking rock star. We have a very good life. Me and you live a very good life. Yeah. And we shouldn't be stressed out behind anything, but it seems like some days, but everything is new for us. So that's another thing. We're, maneuvering through an old relationship and a new life. So it's like, we're building, and now we know each other, but we don't know each other. So the aha moment the other day came about when I'm saying to you, when I was 20, or when we were 20 something, then, because we were 20 at the same time, even though you're older than me, but we didn't have those restrictions. We just did whatever the fuck we wanted to do.
We did what felt good.
And now we're more mature. We can do whatever the fuck we want to do. But for some reason, it's like we're putting more stress on ourselves about what?
Yeah. That's where the anxiety comes in.
When, like I told you the other day, if I die tomorrow, I'm so thankful that I got the chance to just be here and just to do these things. And technically, I should live my life like a fucking rock star even right now, because I have everything I've ever asked for in life. But for some reason, it's creating in me more of a trying to preserve the future. I'm not living right now like it's my last moment. Like, I could live to be 300 years old if I eat right or if I do the right things. So technically at this point, like I told you before, I could be really 20 years old on the inside of my body if I just think that. But my brain is not allowing that thought to happen.
I think after you've been experienced a few hardships in your life and those things, it gets more difficult to I'm gonna say to not consider that something could go wrong. You know, the more things that have gone wrong, the more, you try to anticipate what could go wrong. The more responsibilities you have, the more things you have to worry about, obviously.
Right, but we run several businesses, and as you know, even in business, the failure is part of getting back up and, starting again or doing something else. So that still shouldn't cause energy in you like that. Like, it's just part of getting up and doing it.
I think that's where the change has to be. It comes, I think that, and again, I don't know a lot about this. I'm just trying to start learning this now anyway. But it becomes important, I think, to change your perspectives. Maybe your value systems even.
Right.
Like, you need to really value the time you spend with your loved ones, your family, your friends. You need to really value that. And then maybe it's not so important to have every cable channel.
That's true, because if you spend time with them, you wouldn't even be watching TV. Me and you barely watch TV now. We have every channel under the sun.
Yes. So then maybe as these, now you don't have to really be threatened by the thought of losing your cable. Because it doesn't matter as long as I have you.
Right. But people in society, you need to have cable because we like TV too.
Yes. But also, from what I'm reading, what happens is we are surrounded we live in a society that is constantly telling you don't have enough.
Right, that is true.
You don't have a big enough house. You're not driving a good enough car. That old car, even though it gets you to the exact same places, is not as good as this car getting you to the same place. So it kind of fosters feelings of inadequacy all the time.
Right.
You can never have enough money because there's always a hole in the bottom of that cup trying to siphon out your money. So that's what I think. It's society, the pressures that are put on us by society, people around us. If you can change your connection, your perception and your connection to all of these things, then you can possibly escape the anxiety that accompanies always trying to achieve more, better, more.
Okay, so this is season 1, episode 1, right, of Broad-Minded. By the time we get to season 1, episode 10, what should we have learned, or where would you like for us to, be going in that direction?
Well, what I'd like to see, I think, is definitely more growth and understanding of the process of being more spiritual and using that to create more happiness in your life. But also, I don't know if this is what you're asking exactly, but I'd like to hear from other people who are maybe more experienced or more knowledgeable to help in that process that I'm trying to go through.
Okay, so, you're very educated. You have degrees. So, experience how? You mean more...
On a spiritual level.
Okay, so somebody that's been more involved for a longer period of time, or
maybe more involved, or has had even more success in doing it.
Okay.
Who can vouch for the process, who can help break down the process, and even help somebody who's possibly having difficulty.
Okay, I think we actually do that. I've been involved in my spiritual walk since 2012.
No, we do that for each other.
Yeah, I think we do that. So along with this journey and this pathway, what I think I would like to see is, so this was the first episode we talked about anxiety and like how some of these things, come into us. By the time we get to 10, I would like to see how we start breaking the chains on some of these things. How our mind frees up. Like, when I told you the aha moment that I had the other day, like, fuck it. I'm just going to live every day like this is my last one. I love you. I'm thankful that we're here. I have everything that I want. I should not be feeling anything. So at that point in time, by 10, I would like to have at least crossed one of the things off of my list. Like, I literally don't have this feeling anymore,
And you've mastered that.
Yes.
Do you think anybody ever truly masters it? Or
They
do you
do,
just
because
have to keep looking at it from all as many perspectives as you possibly can in order to gain more of an understanding?
Well, I think you master some things, because one of the things I love even about, remember I told you, you don't do social media, but I do social media. Facebook, remember I told you that I like some of the things that it shows you 2012, you said this. And so I'm realizing that when my old history shows up and in 2012 I said, think positive, be this way. I see now how I got to this path, because I totally changed. Because remember I told you, when I left where we are originally from, I was fucked up. Like, I was not really in a good space. And so I literally did the thing, like the fake it till you make it. Like, I wasn't feeling all that good. But at the time, I just decided that now I'm just going to positive vibes only. I'm putting positive vibes out to the universe, to the world. I'm not going to live in any broken state. And so at that point in time is when I started to remember how I was speaking to myself and remember the things that I would listen to. I cut off people that were not on the same path that I was on, because I could hear like people gossiping or, your friends coming around. I cut them people off because I didn't want to entertain that no more. I wanted to be different, and I chose to be different. I made a conscious decision to be different. So now when those things pop up, I'm like, oh man, I remember, starting that process. I wasn't even in a good place. Like, now I'm in an awesome place, in an awesome space. But I could see where then I was just saying it to myself. And then I started to live it. So now as I grow and different things started to happen to me, now I'm starting to have to tweak those other things, because even being in a relationship with you, we were friends and you've been my friend for forever. And I love you so much. But when we started being intimate, that was different, because although we had did it before, we were now 10 years different, different people. You're a lot more mature. I'm a lot more mature. And it was like, everything, we knew we could have good sex. That was nothing. We've never had bad sex ever. But you and I also have this thing where we have to kind of like be comfortable before we do that. So that's why I'm hating on you a little bit that you would even say that, because you motherfucker know that I'm that way. And then for you to try to portray, there you go, portraying me as something again. Remember, we already had this. You about to get smacked. But you know yourself that we have this thing. So we could hang out and we wouldn't even have sex. Mm-hmm. We would just be communicating. So it would take us some time to warm up to each other. But we instantly went from friends to probably engaged before we were friends to fucking married. Like, it was what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Off of a 10-year run of nothing. Mm-hmm. And now we're trying to figure out how to be intimate, be lovers, be friends when, we know stuff about each other. All the shit that nobody else is allowed to know, I know about you. And you know about me. Mm-hmm. All the stuff that your ex-girlfriends probably would want to know, mm-hmm. I know. And now we live together. We're married. And we barely know each other, but we know everything about each other. How the fuck hard is that?
Well, we know old stuff about each other.
we know new stuff about each other too.
We know some newer things, but now we have to figure out how
to coexist.
Yeah.
And happily ever after it.
Because when we were just friends, it was different. We were just talking about things. Now it's like, how do the things affect how we interact with each other?
Right.
Before they were just detailed stories. I could listen over the other end of the phone. I could give you whatever my unbiased advice was, and then you could take it or leave it.
Right.
But now I don't know if you can take it or leave it so easily.
No, because we leaving it in the same bed every day. Like,
so
come on.
Now we have to figure out, okay, now how does that change things or not change things or influence the future?
And every business we have, we work together. So it's like literally we're together 24 hours a day. Mm. So how does that work?
Well, I haven't gotten tired of you yet.
You better not. This is a lifetime, honey. Happily ever after.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's like now we're figuring out all these new things. So I'm looking forward to the growth. I'm looking forward to, seeing how season 1 is, the first episode is different from episode 10. And then, like you said, just bringing on some other people and seeing